So, guys, Mike sent me this video last night and was like, I think the Browns may be getting a little too much hype. What do you think? And we were kind of going back and forth on it, so I wanted to pitch it to you guys. We have, I'm blanking on my names here, Patrick Peterson saying that he is most excited to watch the Browns.
He was on Good Morning Football. Give you a little context. He was on Good Morning Football.
We'll play the video here in a second for you.
Yeah, he was on Good Morning Football. They asked him, which team are you most excited about entering 2024? And here's his answer.
Like that.
I'm going to go with the...
Really?
Yeah.
Go for it. Let's
Cleveland
hear.
Browns. It don't fit that well on my head, but it'll work.
That's right. It's the
I'm
chair.
going to go with the Cleveland Browns just because I like what Steve and the coaching staff have been able to do over there in Cleveland. Having a #1 defense last year kind of fell off the rails a little bit with some injuries and guys not really, able to finish the season for them. But you get Deshaun Watson back.
Yep.
You have weapons outside now that's able to help Amari Cooper. You have tight ends that can get open. So I'm really, really giddy to see how this team is going to finish the season this season versus how they finished last year.
Okay, Watson. What's your read on Watson? Forget, whatever. Now that he's a player on the field, when you're defending a Deshaun Watson, what's your read on him? And is that someone that you're still scared about in the league? Because we haven't seen that football from him. We saw a glimpse in that Ravens game that got hurt.
That's the big question, that we haven't seen enough football from him as of late. But Deshaun is a guy who's very elusive in the pocket, who can extend plays, who's also crafty enough to win those ball games late in those games when need be. So he has talent around him. Now it's all going to be upon him to stay healthy on the field and be there when the team needs him.
Like that.
So when this clip came out, a lot of the initial replies were, oh no, too many people are hyping up the Browns. There's too much hype on the Browns bandwagon too early. We don't know about the draft picks. We don't know about Deshaun Watson. Is this too much too early? And my initial response to that, guys, was, do you know who's scared of expectations? And do you know who is worried about too much hype? Losers. That's who. You think the Chiefs are scared that teams may pick them to win the Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes under center and Travis Kelce and Andy Reid? You think when LeBron was here in Cleveland, they were shying away from the expectation that they should be the front runner to win the NBA title? The only teams who are scared of preseason expectations and too much proverbial off-season hype are teams that frankly aren't that good. I want all the smoke. For the Browns, I want them in Brazil. I want them in China in week 2. I want them in Japan. I want them on a world stage. I want every eyeball on this planet, all 7 billion sets of eyes, to be watching the Browns each and every Sunday when they play football. I want the expectations. You know why? Because the Browns should want them too. If you know you're good, what are you scared of? And I think this Browns team can be damn good in 2024. So yeah, Patrick Peterson and Peter Schrager and Kyle Brandt and anyone else in the national media, bring on the hype for the Browns. Because I think they could be good. I know the players on the team think they'd be good. We just talked to Justin Hardy. He said they should be damn good in 2024. So I'm not scared of any preseason hype or preseason expectations. That's the kind of smoke I want. Jason?
Every time they get hyped up, they put their shoes on the wrong feet and they throw up all over themselves. So hopefully this year is different.
That's a fair counterpoint. That is, to everything I just said, that is a good rebuttal. That was rude. And
What in the world?
It's true.
You see that? Bow.
No, but having said that, like they better produce this year. Again, we'll talk about the Cavs in a minute and what's at stake for them in this postseason. Well, the same's true of the Browns. Like, these guys ain't getting any younger, and Miles is in the prime of his career, and this make or break year for Deshaun, and on and on and on. All things we've talked about and we'll continue to talk about from now until September. So has he signed with another team, by the way?
Who?
Patrick Peterson?
No, he's still a free
He's
agent.
still a free agent?
Yeah.
That's interesting to me that he's still out there.
He's like 40.
I know, but I didn't think he was that bad last year. Did you?
No, and he
plays
moved to safety
too.
Yeah, he can still play.
Yeah, I mean, he's 40 though.
He might just
40.
want to skip camp.
That too.
He ain't 40.
That too. I
But
mean,
he's
he like 30.
He's-
What is he? 36?
I don't know. How old is he?
I'll look it up.
I'm pretty sure he like 35.
I was just thinking while he was
36.
talking, I was like, man, I don't remember him signing with anybody.
No, I
Maybe
mean,
he's done, and that's why he's now doing.
probably
He's 33.
Yeah, 40. Get out of here with that mess.
close enough.
His middle name's Demon.
Patrick Demon Peterson.
That's such a badass
That is
name.
pretty cool.
Is that how you pronounce that, though, Mike?
What would it be like?
Demon?
Damon?
According to his Wikipedia, it's DE''MON.
Oh, I don't have the apostrophe. I'm looking at.
Damon.
Damon makes a lot more sense than Patrick Peterson. There's not an apostrophe in this.
All right, back to the Browns though.
That would be the greatest middle name of all. Sorry, Tyvis,
Demon.
but yes.
Well, when you have a kid, you can call him Demon. When you
I don't think it has to be named Demon for it to be a demon.
when you have a little nugget running around,
A little nugget.
call him Demon.
All right, Tyvis, what do you think about preseason expectations? You played. Did you welcome the preseason hype? Did you like having those type of expectations entering a season? You were at Ohio State, so clearly you guys had them.
The thing about all that is, it doesn't matter because if you got a good coach, he's gonna humble you anyways. He gonna say, don't pay attention to none of that. And at the end of the day, none of that stuff even matters. Like what you did last year don't even matter anymore. You know, because the fact of the matter is you didn't win it all. So with that being said, that you should be like hyped up, energized, ready to get to the season because y'all know. In that building, y'all know how special y'all was. Y'all know what y'all should have done last year. And y'all, like as y'all say, picked the wrong day to have a bad day. And that cost y'all everything. And with that being said, this year y'all can't have no excuses no more. And this is the thing. Last year, I think y'all crept up on a lot of people. A lot of people just thought, oh, that's the same old Browns. The Cleveland Browns on the schedule, oh, that's a W. And they got out there and y'all hit them in the mouth. And now they woke up. Now they know what to expect from y'all. So games will be totally different this year because now to try to beat the Cleveland Browns, you have to be as physical. You have to match the physicality that they have. You got to be as smart as the coaching staffs over there. So you're not creeping up on anybody. You're really going to have to really fight a lot of games and battle a lot of games to win these games this season. But I think that it starts with the players over there. Y'all gotta, as crazy as this may sound, and this is nothing that you could control, but y'all gotta find a way to stay healthy. If y'all stay healthy, a lot of things change. But the fact that y'all weren't healthy, that just opened up a door for excuses. So y'all gotta find a way to stay healthy this year. Secondly, y'all been to the playoffs. Y'all seen what happened when y'all got to the playoffs. Y'all gotta make sure that y'all are ready for whatever. Y'all gotta be ready to die about this stuff in the playoffs because as you see, it's a totally different game in those playoff matches. So you gotta get better there. And y'all got to find a way, whatever this home and away field stuff is, you got to fix those things as well. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I actually preferred to play on the road more than I did at home because I just like the villain role a little bit more. Y'all got to embrace that. Y'all got to embrace being the villain. Y'all got to embrace making the crowd, telling the crowd to shut up and sit down for a second because I'm not done. That's where you got to be at this season. And if you do those things, then you ain't got to worry about no preseason hype because you will be that deal for sure.
Real quick, you mentioned the home road split. You like being the villain. Do you think that comes from playing at a school like Ohio State where you were every opponent's?
You're always.
Oh, we was the
Like,
Super Bowl.
That's what I'm saying.
We was everybody's Super Bowl.
So you had that mindset, but for a guy, for someone else like Cam Mitchell who played at Northwestern, where
he went to the Big Ten championship. He was a villain.
I'm just using an example.
I hear what Mike's
like
saying.
when you're
Northwestern ain't Ohio State.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're going Big Ten championship.
So is that a mentality that you think was developed prior to Ohio State, or is that something you learned at Ohio State?
No,
Where
I
a guy who
probably
went to a different.
No, I
school-
learned it at Ohio State because I understood the fact that I was everybody's Super Bowl. Everybody wanted to be the reason why the Buckeyes didn't win a national championship. Because if you beat us, you probably be one of the only teams that put an L in that column. So I had to play extremely outside of myself in every game. I couldn't look at games and be like, it's that we could take this game off. It's Purdue, we could just chill. Like I couldn't do that because they well, I wasn't there for that, but
just saying, like
yeah,
that
stuff
happened.
like that happens. So yeah, maybe it did develop in college, but listen, they got the right coaching staff. They coaching staff know what it takes to win championships and win games. And the thing about it is, they found out this past season what they need to do. They need to be better on the road. It should be no excuse for why y'all can't win games or be as productive on the road. Like there's not that much of a difference to it. Like outside of the crowd, it's not that much of a difference.
When you look at some of the guys on this Browns roster who are in a position where they have to play well this season, and I'll use Deshaun for an example. When he was at Clemson, it wasn't like expectations, especially preseason expectations, weren't heaped upon his teams. He won a national championship. They were expected to repeat. He's used to that. There are guys up and down this roster on offense and defense. Not everyone was in a situation similar to Ohio State or Clemson for Deshaun. But it's not like these guys are foreign and unaccustomed to having, even last year, we thought this team was going to be pretty good. Now, I don't think we thought they'd win 11 games with 4 different quarterbacks and 5 if you count Jeff Driscoll, but this isn't a new situation for them, and hopefully to Jason's point, they've learned some lessons in those past expectations that led to failures that they can correct this time around.
Yeah.
I don't know what those are. I mean, it's easy to say. Yeah, individually it's harder to figure out. But hopefully they learn their lessons.
It's a talented team. It's a talented roster. Like I said all last year, they could go 10-6, 10-7. You go, yep. They go 7-10. You go, yep. Like nothing would really surprise you. Now 7-10 would certainly be a surprise. They got to build off where they are, and it all comes down to Deshaun. Heard that again yesterday at the Guardians game, talking to people. It all comes down to 4.
But we said that last year.
We did.
It came down to Deshaun.
Did it?
He wasn't there when they needed him.
I
in the
think so,
playoffs.
yeah.
Oh, and everybody, it was.
Their ceiling was so much higher with Deshaun.
I agree with that statement,
So, yeah.
but a lot of people would argue that the offense was better without him.
That offense did look better at times without him.
Okay.
It did.
Okay.
It did.
When push came to shove, it didn't though.
I'm just saying.
Those pick sixes.
What don't do that. What I would say is that they built the right mindset. I mean, we had D'Anthony Bell sit right here in this chair, and he said that it didn't matter, and it was at a point where it didn't matter who went down. We was just finding ways to win games, and they built the right mentality.
It is incredible.
It is.
But
And
ultimately, they did win a playoff game.
they did not.
So
Can I ask you a question as a former player? So the 2 miraculous things about the Browns last year. Despite all the injuries, they won games, especially at the quarterback position. 4 different quarterbacks won a game. They also won 11 games despite leading the league in turnovers, which never happens. You lead the league in turnovers, you're typically drafting the top 5 of the draft. That is a trait of a bad football team.
That's a fact.
Now, granted,
I was in that boat before.
part of the reason they had so many turnovers was the quarterback play. So they're tied together. It's not exclusively one and exclusively the other. It's a combination of the both. But when you look forward to 2024, Tyvis, you would hope the quarterback plays more stable just based off the injury situation. Do you believe in turnover luck? And
Yes, that's real.
And they had 33 turnovers in
That's real.
2023.
Usually it flips every year.
So I'm not asking you to predict a number, but you go from leading the league, where do the Browns need to be in 2024 to be a true contender? Middle of the pack? Bottom 10 in turnovers?
I mean, if they bottom 10 in turnovers, that right there wins you at least 3 more games. Like, that's a fact. Because everybody knows that the plan to win is play great defense, run the ball, take care, or create takeaways. So if you do those 3 things, 9 times out of 10, you'll win those games. But for them to be successful, I mean, they'll be fine if they're a middle of the pack team, but I think that'll be a heavy emphasis this year. Of taking care of the football and the quarterbacks. The thing about the quarterback is, I think with Joe was on some, and I think Jameis is the same way. It's just on some, I'm going to let this thing rip. Like, it is what it is. If I see it and I trust my arm, I'm going to just let this thing rip.
I live with the result.
Yeah, I live with it. But, because at the same time, if I thread the needle, I'm the greatest thing ever.
It's Amari Cooper against Chicago.
Right. So Deshaun is a little bit more conscious of that, but he also is on the I'm trying to score every play too. So I think they got to reel it back a little bit, realize that, hey, every play can't be a touchdown. Some plays is setting things up. And a lot of times you just got to live to see another day. If it ain't there, just don't force it. Live to see another day. Take the check down or use your legs and pick up a couple yards. And I think that's the part that everybody got to evolve to, which I think Deshaun is much more capable of doing that than Jameis or Joe would because he's more mobile anyways. And he's already won a game where he had to use his legs a little bit in the second half against Baltimore. So I think for Deshaun, for him, it should be about moving the sticks. Move the chains. Just move the chain. Whatever I need to do to move the chains. And not force it. If it's there, of course, take it. Let it fly. But if it's not there, you don't need to thread the needle. Just stay ahead of the sticks.
You know what I just thought of as you were saying that? Remember when Mahomes first came into the league?
Oh, he was letting it fly.
And he just letting it rip, put up these crazy numbers.
Then Tampa Bay started putting their safeties 30 yards deep. That made him take checkdowns.
That's what I'm getting to. Deshaun hasn't played since that happened. Or he's played the 12 games, but he sat out, came back. When he was in Houston, he was a guy that was pushing the ball downfield.
Well, he had one of the best deep balls in the game.
That's what I'm saying. He was taking deep shots. He was pushing the ball downfield. He's always cautious with the football. His turnover numbers, and especially interception numbers, always historically low. 33 touchdowns, 7 picks his last full season in Houston. we haven't seen him have to adapt in a full season to the kind of new era of defense in the NFL where it's a lot of too high safety, dink and dunk. We're going to make you play 10, 11, 12 play drives instead of giving you the big chunk play.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something he just has to play through to kind of figure out on his own, or is that something he can kind of game plan and approach differently when he steps in?
He needed to see it. He needed to see what it was like because even for a quarterback as great as Mahomes, when they first did it to him, he was
It
like,
threw him off.
Yeah, Josh Allen, as great as a quarterback it is for him, it throws him off. It's something that you obviously you know they're going to do it because you watch tape. You're like, the coach is going to tell you, like, go play their safeties 20, 25 yards deep, so we're going to have to dink and dunk. But the competitive nature in you and who you are as a person, the greatness inside you is like, I don't care if they 50 yards back. I'm going to thread this needle through there. And don't get me wrong, it was some plays that Deshaun made this year. He hit Amari Cooper in triple coverage against Arizona. And I was like, boy, you couldn't have walked over and handed him that ball no better. So he's still got that ability, but you got to be smarter. You got to understand that Arizona wasn't a really good team this year. You do that against, I don't know, the Chiefs or somebody like that, it's probably going to get picked off. So it was something that he needed to go through. I think he'll be much better this year because he's seen it. He's like, all right, this is how guys are playing my guys. But for the Browns, what he had to realize also with the Browns is that they didn't really have no burners like that. So everybody was going to flat foot them anyways. So, hopefully with Jerry Jeudy and Amari Cooper showing you that he still got a little burst in him, and maybe Elijah Moore get a little burst in him, maybe it does make them safeties play a little bit more further back so you can have more room to operate.
What do you think about that, Jason?
When you were talking about checkdowns, this is going to sound stupid.
When they beat Baltimore, he took a lot of them.
He took a lot of them.
Yes.
And that's why I was going to ask are all checkdowns the same?
No. It depends on the coverage and the route. And it varies. So like if it's 5 wide, but you got a tight end in and he's in a grave digger, he'll chip and he'll just space out. You go through your progressives and then just throw it there. Sometimes it's the running back out the backfield. Sometimes it's just a drag route. It's a lot of different checkdowns on different plays.
A lot of his checkdowns felt he didn't love the offense last year. Can we agree on that?
Clearly.
I mean, I said it 100 times, and everyone kept telling me I was trying to develop.
Well, that's clear as day.
But clearly he didn't like the offense. Is the checkdowns that you saw out of Deshaun, his uncomfortability with the offense, and is that different than what you're talking about with Mahomes and where they're placing the safeties? That's where I'm trying to get at. Like, are all checkdowns the same? Were his checkdowns because of his shoulder, or because of his uncomfortability with the offense, or because that's what was there for him?
I think that a lot of the times coaches just call plays. They call plays against certain coverages. Because like I say, different coverages is different checkdowns. So if whatever your game planning is, you go through your progression and it ends up being the checkdown. I don't think it's not something that every play is going to be the running back. Like that's not the case. It's not going to be the running back. It's going to curl over 5 yards. That's going to be that's not it. He could flare out. It could be the tight end. It's different. It's always just something short. Whatever the shortest route is on the play, if it's not the running back, it's going to essentially be the checkdown. Because defenses are taught to give cover deep to short.
Right.
So if you hit me with a smash concept or something like that, where it's the 7 with the curl, the corner's going to obviously take the 7 cut, which is the corner route. So now the hitch is the check down. Like, that's just how
I feel like we have to go through and rewatch throw by throw in the Ravens game specifically to see if that was a designed short route that he was looking for in his first progression. Was he looking deep? All right, read 1's not there, read 2's not there, pressure's coming, let me dunk it down.
That's how it's supposed to go.
What I'm saying, but I don't remember throw by throw if he was just going one step, all right, let me get out my hand, and maybe because the shoulder was injured, maybe because his ankle wasn't, he didn't.
We talking about in the Baltimore game?
Yeah, I'm just using that one as an example because
I would have to go back and look at the second half.
Yeah, I don't remember play by play, but I hadn't really thought of it till you were explaining something earlier, Tyvis. But it's just a different era of defensive football since the last time we had seen Deshaun 100% healthy at the peak of his powers. And doesn't mean he can't adjust. I'm sure he'll have no problem adjusting when he stays healthy. It's just we haven't kind of seen him on a week in, week out basis dominate against. It's not a new era of defense, but a new kind of defensive philosophy you've seen across the league. Like we know he had dominated the previous one.
But in the same breath, he also he got to make them fear him again.
Yeah.
Like, you got to make the defense fear you a little bit. And that's not just him. That's on his receivers as well. You know, once Amari Cooper start going crazy, all right, now that fear was back again. Now we need to back up a little bit. But until that point, nobody really feared a lot of stuff that was going on. I mean, yeah, you fear Amari Cooper because he's such a great route runner. But it wasn't like these guys was going to burn you deep or really beat you that bad on a route or something like that. So it's up to his playmakers to also put fear in that defense as well, not just all on him.
And the running game helps.
The running game
Getting
definitely
Nick Chubb
helps.
back and hopefully healthy will be a major bonus, plus the additions of Deonta Foreman, Naheem Hines, Jerome Ford has another year in this offense. You would assume they have the weapons to be a dynamic offense through